honestly. Like 50 Cent is easily the most petty hip-hop artist I can think of, and maybe even a step further, he might be the most petty artist ever, outside of probably Prince. Top of the Top, episode 278, Stash House Podcast. Your boy Tyler checking in. First time listeners, thank y'all for tuning in. If you tune in weekly, salute, or there's just an episode, saw some topics you may want to hear about, thank you for tuning in as well. Podcast available on all streaming platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube page. Like this video as well on YouTube. Subscribe to your preferred audio platform. Tell a friend, tell another friend, check out this show. All love is greatly, greatly appreciated. Hope everyone had a safe week, safe weekend. Do the same this upcoming week. In this week episode, I'm doing another artist spotlight type episode. I did one about Gucci Mane, about Wiz, and I also did a spotlight on the mixtapes I grew up listening to. So check those out in the archives. This week, I'm talking about 50 Cent. I'm talking about 50 Cent, and it's going to be a lot different than the other spotlight episodes because with 50 Cent, I want to highlight the many feuds, the many beefs he's had in his career, which is still ongoing as I speak. You know what I'm saying? I'm highlighting 5 in particular, but if you want to count all the 50 Cent beefs, I'm sure we can get probably well over 20, honestly. Like 50 Cent is easily the most petty hip-hop artist I can think of, and maybe even a step further, he might be the most petty artist ever, outside of probably Prince. 50 Cent is right there. It just don't stop with him. It just don't stop. It's some beefs and some I'm going to talk about in this episode, which he's claimed that's been patched up. Fat Joe, Floyd Mayweather. It's different ones, but it's also ones like Ja Rule that's never going to go away. Rick Ross, that's never going to go away. We got this thing now with Lil Meech and Big Meech. 50 Cent career has always been based off beef, in my opinion, with the How to Rob song. When I first saw him on television, it was Wankster. And we know the history. So like I said, I'm going to talk about 5 in particular. Not really no countdown order, just 5 in particular. So sit back, relax. Let's enjoy the many beefs of 50 Cent. So like I said, starting things off, talking about 50 Cent, his many beefs in hip-hop. And for me, it goes back to when I first remember hearing about How to Rob. At the time, I didn't know what was going on. I just know this guy was dissing a lot of people in the industry at the time. I didn't really think nothing of it. But then, as the story goes, Jay-Z responded at a Summer Jam event saying, I'm all about $1. Who the fuck is 50 Cent? And watching different documentaries, 50 was like, that meant something to him because he said my name on the song. So clearly, I got Jay-Z attention. So then, as the story goes, 50 Cent was popping in New York, I believe. I'm a guy from the South, so if anybody up top can fact check, but I believe they say 50 Cent was hot in New York. But at the time, he had so much beef in New York, mainly with Murder, Inc., who was signed under Def Jam, who housed many other black record labels in New York. Nobody really touched 50 because they didn't want what came with it, basically. So 50 had to go out west to Dr. Dre, Eminem to get signed to a West Coast label, even though he was one of the hottest things popping in New York at the time, mainly with Ja Rule and Murder, Inc. So that's the first beef I want to start with, 50 Cent and Ja Rule. It's still going on to this day. Sadly, after the passing of Irv Gotti, we saw 50 Cent most recent Instagram post. I don't agree with it because, at that point, there's nothing to really talk about after someone is no longer here, but it just, 50 Cent, Ja Rule, I don't think that's ever going to get patched up. It was rumors years ago, Fat Joe tried to get both of them on the Summer Jam stage together, and Ja Rule really had a great point of why he really don't want to patch things up with 50. Ja Rule said the difference between a lot of different beefs, when people patch it up, at one point they were probably friends. At one point they probably rode together. 50 Cent, Floyd Mayweather, they was cool before they started beefing. Ja Rule was like, me and 50 was never cool. So there's nothing to really patch up. We just never got along. He said, yeah, it would have been a cool moment for that time us on the same stage, but he was like, there's nothing to really reconcile. We just never liked each other. And it goes back to, from what I've heard on different interviews, it goes back to like late 90s. Ja Rule, I think he said he saw 50 at a video shoot, and 50 didn't really acknowledge him the way he should have, quote unquote, I guess Ja Rule was saying. And then 50 Cent goes to say, in like 99, somebody he rode with robbed Ja Rule out of a necklace or something like that. So y'all know how that goes. Go from, it really wasn't even music. It was just straight up street shit at the time. Then it transpired into the music. Like I say, me being a kid, watching MTV, BET, seeing Wanks the video, not really knowing at the time as a kid what was going on, because as a kid, I was a Ja Rule fan. I mean, he had the songs the women liked, the videos was what you wanted when you grow up, be 18, 21. You like, damn, I wish I could go to like a house party like Murder, Inc. videos be. So I was a Ja Rule guy, but of course I didn't know no backstory or nothing like that. And 50 Cent just took off. Of course, like I say, signed to Dr. Dre, Aftermath, Shady, In the Club, Get Rich or Die Trying album, all that good stuff. But the beef with Ja Rule remained the same. They got in a fight at an Atlanta nightclub, and the story I hear it almost in every interview from a Murder, Inc. person or a G-Unit person that night at the studio when they got to fighting. I remember definitely seeing this story on the Beef DVDs when Ja Rule and 50 Cent, when they were talking about their beef. I remember hearing about this studio fight. There was like, they came with kitchen knives and whoop-de-whoop, and they came in the studio, turned all the lights off, and it was just really every man for himself. They say 50 had got like stabbed, but not 50, I think 50 or Tony Yayo. And I remember one of them showing it on camera, like on their knuckles, like just a little boo-boo, that's it. They ain't really do no damage or whatnot. So I remember definitely seeing that on the Beef DVDs. 50 Cent, different interviews on Rap City, where he shouted out Ashanti, all that. Like I remember, like being a kid, not really understanding that Biggie and Pac happened years ago. Like I wasn't in that mindset I was just like, I like Ja Rule music, but I'm hearing about 50 Cent. He don't like Ja Rule, and 50 Cent got In the Club and this Get Rich or Die Trying album that's going crazy. He got Back Down on there, but Ja Rule came back with Clapback. But I believe on that G-Unit album, because I had that G-Unit album, Bed for Mercy, that I smell pussy. Is that you, Ja? I smell. So 50, and as we know now in history, 50 dissed Ja for being on the singing songs and catering to the women, just so 50 Cent could start doing 21 Questions, Candy Shop, doing the same type of songs Ja Rule was doing. So that's why looking back at that beef, I'm like, okay, I get it. Y'all was never cool. Y'all didn't get along. But I was like, for what 50 Cent was saying about Ja Rule, music-wise, 50 Cent started doing the same exact thing. And Ja Rule, sadly, I feel like Ja Rule could have stayed a little bit longer with the music he made, especially catering to the women. But after that, it just slowed down for Ja Rule. But he's still doing shows, though. Don't get it twisted. Ja Rule, them songs with Ashanti, all them Murder, Inc. songs, Ja Rule can go on stage and give you a good set. You know what I'm saying? Just at the time, I mean, you got Dr. Dre behind, 50, Eminem, Snoop, got that whole brigade on that side. And at the time, Murder, Inc. was getting sued. They had to change their name from Murder, Inc. to The Inc. It was just a whole collapse of 50 Cent popularity, legal issues, street shit, music sales. It's just all that played a part in it, in my opinion. But, I mean, 50 Cent, he knew what he was doing with Ja. He knew what he was doing with Ja. Of course, Ja came back with Fat Joe and Jadakiss, did New York, New York. It was just a lot going on at that time. And I just remember being a kid, just seeing different things on TV. Like, at the time, it wasn't no internet, so I probably found out late because I'm down south. I'm really relying on MTV and BET to get my news, if not a DVD or a magazine or something like that. So, yeah, 50 Cent, Ja Rule, that was definitely one of the early beefs I remember. And really, that was the first time I remember seeing 50 Cent on television. Now, the next beef I want to talk about with 50 is probably the most notorious 50 Cent beef, in my opinion, with the Game. Now, a lot of things happened very quick with this beef, in my opinion. Yet again, this is 2003, 2004, 2005-ish, I believe, when the documentary came out. So I'm like sixth grade at this time. I remember definitely hearing Hate It or Love It in the sixth grade, being in homeroom class. I definitely remember that. So I remember first seeing The Game. I can't remember what video it was. It was a G-Unit video. Was it Stunt 101? It was one of them G-Unit videos for Bed for Mercy. I want to say it was Stunt 101. But at the end, it teased like a Lloyd Banks song, if I'm not mistaken. And it had like the G-Unit members. I think Yayo was locked up at the time. But I remember seeing this guy at The Game. And I just saw The Game. And they showed his face. I was like, okay. Like I said, I'm from the South, so I wasn't up on West Coast music at the time. And if you look back at it now, it was a down period for the West. Even though we knew of Snoop Dogg, Ice Cube, Dr. Dre, Too Short, we knew the legends, the early legends, because it's still early. There was early legends, but they didn't have nobody new on the scene at the time to where it reached down south at least. So The Game, hearing he was from the West Coast, he with 50 Cent, so I'm like, okay, cool. But, of course, it made sense later when I heard, okay, Dr. Dre, he linked with Dr. Dre, and I guess Dr. Dre was like, to get him popping, let's put him with 50, who the biggest artist in the world right now, and that'll just jumpstart his career, which they did. It said he came in the midst of G-Unit during the Bed for Mercy production, so it makes sense to why he was in that video. So, let's go to the documentary. Like I said, this happened probably within a year, 2-year time span with The Game, 50 Cent, and G-Unit. So the documentary album happens. You got Hate It or Love It, that's going crazy, where I'm at. And what was the other one? Hate It or Love It, the underdogs on top. And I'm gonna shine, homie, until my heart's stuck. Go ahead and envy me. I'm Rap's MVP. What that was Hate It or Love. What was the other one, man? This is how we do. I mean, that jump bang. That this is how we do. That beat, that shit bang. So I was like, okay, he's being presented to me at least as a sixth grader in Alabama. He's presenting as me as, okay, this 50 Cent next guy. You know, so I know of Lloyd Banks, Young Buck, of course. Like I said, I think Yayo was locked up. But I'm like, okay, clearly 50 Cent see something in this guy because he got 2 straight videos and 2 straight songs with him. You know what I'm saying? So as I was doing research on this, and I heard this through different interviews and podcasts throughout the past years, the documentary time period was supposed to be for 50 Cent next album. And it's rumored that Hate It or Love It, This Is How We Do, numerous songs on the documentary was meant for 50, but he kind of passed it on like, okay, let's get Game popping. Let's push my album back. Let's get Game popping, and we'll go from there, which they did, because Game, that documentary album, it served its purpose. And then it rumored that 50 Cent started feeling the way. That Game was getting all this notoriety, and 50 Cent was kind of put on the back burner, which I'm sure looking back at it now, well, who knows? Like I said, 50 Cent is petty. But in just terms of growing up, damn near 20 years later, he was doing the right thing, and he shouldn't have felt the way. He's like, bro, you G-Unit boss. You already got Get Rich or Die Trying. I know it's just one album, and you got Lloyd Banks still in the back. You got Young Buck still in the back. Young Buck had a great, with that Stomp remix, with that T.I. and Ludacris. Shout out to Young Buck for that Stomp song. But I understand 50 probably be like, damn, I only got one album. But at the time, he wasn't thinking bigger picture, like I'm sure he is nowadays with all his different ventures. So it said 50 Cent felt the way. And then fast forward to the Hot 97. Shots at Hot 97. It was said that 50 Cent, I thought it was on YouTube, but I think they took the video down. 50 Cent was live on Hot 97 in New York with Funk Flex, and he was just talking shit about the Game. I guess he was, I think, like I said, once again, going back to those beef DVDs, watching the beef DVDs, Game was like, he had people in his ear saying something that they thought they heard on my side and going back to tell 50, and 50 started feeling the way. He like, 50 never really came to me as a man to say to ask me what I said. He was like, some guy in his camp was being a mole and putting shit in his ear. So 50 Cent went on live radio and started talking about the Game, dissing the Game. And I guess the Game was in New York at the time, and they heard it live. There was live radio, and they pulled up the Hot 97. Long story short, they said a shootout occurred. I think 2 people got shot, and it was known as shots at Hot 97. I guess now they say this is the reason why they don't do live interviews anymore. From what I've been seeing on interviews and all that throughout the years. That's why you see so many interviews. I ain't gonna say the sole reason why you see interviews on YouTube, but it was like these don't happen live anymore because of what happened with the game and 50 Cent. So it went from music to the streets compared to Ja Rule, where it went to the streets to music. So it's like a reverse effect. 50 Cent go always stay in the midst with beef or drama. You know what I'm saying? These just 2 occasions that I talked about with the game and Ja Rule. Now, the next beef I want to talk about is Floyd Mayweather. Now, for the time being, there was some reconciliation with those 2 back in 2022. 50 Cent went on the Breakfast Club and was like, me and Floyd met in Vegas. We hashed out our issues. We good now. But with all the things going on now with Lil Meech taking a picture with him and all that, who knows, something else might spark. Y'all know 50 Cent always on go time. But 50 Cent did say it was a time where him and Floyd Mayweather hashed out their differences. And I'll be honest with y'all, I've been seeing the memes of 50 Cent for years with the Floyd Mayweather videos. If you can read one Harry Potter book, that 50 Cent video about Floyd Mayweather reading a Harry Potter book is easily top 5 hip-hop moments in my opinion. That shit was hilarious. But it was that one. Then it was like, so I wake up this morning, I see Floyd Mayweather say, fuck Nelly, fuck 50 Cent. He was like, what you say fuck me for? So I've been seeing the memes, but I never knew where Floyd Mayweather and 50 Cent issues stem from. So when I was doing research, I finally found out what happened. And I remember hearing this story a little bit, but I think when I heard it, I was like, really? That's why they beefing? Okay, I get it. But I was like, I feel like that could have been handled at that point. So what happened was 50 Cent and Floyd was cool. They said it was cool for years. I'm not sure where it started, but they say they were definitely cool for more than a couple years. Like they'll go to each other concerts. 50 Cent be at Floyd boxing matches. They were always seen together, so they was tight. They was kicking it. And they say 2012, Floyd Mayweather got sent to prison for about 3 months. While Floyd Mayweather was in prison, 50 Cent was over the money team operation. You know what I'm saying? Booking fights, all that stuff. So Floyd, 2012 Floyd, he was Pretty Boy Floyd, I believe, or just now getting out of that era of Pretty Boy Floyd. So the money team was like on the come up, damn near there. He was still undefeated. He was Floyd Mayweather in 2012. So him getting locked up for 3 months was a little bit of a setback, but you got 50 Cent there. He running operations. As the story goes, 50 Cent felt like he was owed about $2 million for doing that. So 50 Cent felt he was owed $200 million, and that's where the friction started. That's where we get the Floyd Mayweather, you can't read a Harry Potter book. Hey, I'm going on Jimmy Kimmel tonight. We know you can't say the words in Harry Potter book, so we're going to let you read Cat in the Hat. And that's when 50 had the internet, and this is 50, so he just kept going at Floyd. But, like I say, 50 Cent did say on the Breakfast Club, him and Floyd met up, and they hashed their differences out. But like I said, now with this Big Meech and Lil Meech situation going on, taking pictures with Floyd, who knows? Who knows? And I forgot to mention this with the game. 50 also had issues with G-Unit. Lloyd Banks, Young Buck, and even Tony Yayo. Tony Yayo, who still ride with him to this day, he even had beef with G-Unit, his own group. Sha Money, the producer, 50 Cent got a laundry list. Jay-Z, Cameron, who else? I'm going to talk about Ross next. Stars with the Power Show. Like, 50 Cent career is, I'll damn near say beef number 1, then music number 2. At this point, for real. And like I say, Rick Ross, that was probably the one beef 50 Cent probably can never get over because he know he's not going to flat out win. He pulled the big Joker card out early with Ross. He brought Tia Kemp on, This Is 50, saying, Rick Ross, correctional officer. And I know at the time when I heard it, I was like, I knew he wasn't Rick Ross, free Ray Rick Ross, because I remember hearing documentaries and all that about the real Rick Ross. So I was like, okay. But I wouldn't think he was a correctional officer. So I was like, this could be, something that people be like, damn, dog, we know you already not the real Rick Ross, but now you're a correctional officer. But when you make Teflon Don, God Forgives I Don't, a Triller album, what's the album with Mafia Music and Magnificent on it? You make good damn music and great damn albums. We'll look away from, you was a correctional officer? Make good music, though. So 50 thought that was going to be the end-all be-all for Ross. He a correctional officer. Ross made damn good music. And on the Mafia Music song, shouting out 50 Cent, doing all this good stuff. Yeah, that Mayweather money looking funny in the light. Curtis Jackson. Ross came back hard, and Ross is still the one guy to this day, as I speak, that can go back and forth with 50 on the internet with the best of them. Because Ross ain't got nothing else to do but be in that big-ass house on that land doing jokes on the internet at 50 Cent, and 50 Cent know he can't keep up with Ross. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember seeing that interview with Tia Kemp, and Tia Kemp, she popping out her own way on TikTok. That's crazy how, time passed and these people come back up on social media and just find their niche. You know what I'm saying? So, shout out to Tia Kemp. But they can go back and forth all day. And, like, Rick Ross had that video where he in the car listening to Hate or Love It, and he was like, this 50 Cent best verse. And there was the part where 50 Cent was like, growing up, I was confused. My mama kissing the girl. He was like, that's the best shit that nigga ever said. I was growing up confused. My mama kissing the girl. Ross was a fool. Him and 50. And 50 Cent, on the This Is 50 time when him and Ross were going back and forth, he did the Officer Ricky shit, the Pimpin' Curly, all those skits as well. That's a great one. Ross and 50 is damn near like a beef where it's like, shit, they both got classic albums. They both funny as hell on the internet. They both can be petty. They both got money. I mean, Ross said they'll never be reconciled. And 50, I'm sure he's not going to reconcile it either. So, 50 Cent, long history of beefs, man. It just, like I said, I got the game number one. Because that game shit happened very quick. And I was like, damn, they done been in 2 videos, Hate It or Love It, This Is How We Do. And all of a sudden, like within a year and a half, he just went shooting out each other at the radio station. Like, damn. That happened really quick. And Game was just holding the West Coast. That's the crazy part. I like, damn, you got Game, West Coast, rolling with a New York clique. And this New York clique is signed to the top guy in the West Coast, Dr. Dre, with Eminem. So it was just crazy how all that happened. Of course, we all know about the Ja Rule beef. That was notorious as well. Like I say, the How to Rob song, talking about the industry. They just 50 Cent, man. 50 Cent just all around. Like, if it ain't music, it's shows. If it ain't shows, it's beefs. Of course, he had G-Unit movement back in the day. 50 Cent, he's going to find a way to stay in the headlines, especially in this Instagram social media era. He's been one of the top guys holding it down in terms of beefs. Instagram posts talking about different people. He tagging them in the post, too. Ain't like he not tagging them. So, yeah, man, 50 Cent career based off beef. I just want to come in and talk about it real quick. Just a cool little episode for y'all. So, appreciate y'all for tuning in. This has been episode 278, Stash House Podcast. Make sure you guys go out. Have a great work week, a great school week. Stay safe. Be mindful of your surroundings. Keep me in your prayers. I'll do the same for y'all. Salute.